you can have a little dance even, if you like, and if you lost your mind, maybe. Now the poor lobster died for that. I'm really feeling sorry for him or her. Hello, my dear ones from Singapore. Singapore Airport has been voted 12 times within 25 years as the best airport worldwide, and reason enough to really have a look at all the lounges of Singapore Airlines here in their home airport, Singapore. We're gonna have a look at all the lounges, not just the best, but really all of them. That's the Gold Lounge, that's the SilverKris Lounge, that's the First Class Lounge, and of course also the private room where I'm sitting right now, that is reserved for first class and first class suites guests only. So it's gonna be a pretty interesting walk through all the lounges of Singapore Airlines here in Singapore. I'm Chris, a happy frequent flyer since I was a kid. Now as an opera singer and privately I travel even more, and Travel Sing Fly is all about airlines worldwide in economy, business and first class, presented with a critical but fair attitude. And we also visit worthwhile travel destinations on all continents with lots of helpful tips for better travel. Today we're looking at what Singapore Airlines has to offer before a flight at its award-winning home airport, Singapore Changi. We're visiting all 7 lounges and the differences are stunning. Singapore Airport is not only really beautiful, but it's also one of the really big airports in the world with a capacity of up to 90 million passengers a year. Singapore Airlines operates from Terminal 2 and 3, and in both of those terminals they have lounges of different levels, and the levels are the Krisflyer Gold Lounge, that's for gold status passengers of Star Alliance. Then there's the SilverKris Lounge, and that has a part for business class, and that's for status customers of Singapore Airlines and also business class travelers of Star Alliance. And then also the first class part of the SilverKris Lounge, that is for first class passengers of Star Alliance flights and also the highest status member of Singapore Airlines. And then there's where I'm sitting right now, the private room. That is reserved for first class passengers and first class suite passengers of Singapore Airlines only. We're going to have a look at all these lounges, and we're starting now with the Krisflyer Gold Lounge. Passengers with Star Alliance Gold status have access to the Gold Lounges regardless of the class of travel. And now I'm gonna say something unusual. They cannot compete with the Star Alliance Gold Lounges in Europe, such as the Senator Lounges of Lufthansa in Frankfurt, Munich or Zurich, which are actually much better. The reason for that, however, lies in different access policies. While the Lufthansa Senator Lounges, for example, are gold lounges for the Star Alliance and also at a level above the business lounges, it is the other way around with Singapore Airlines. In Singapore Changi, Star Alliance Gold status alone is not enough to access the higher quality business class lounges of Singapore Airlines. You have to have one level higher in the Krisflyer program or travel in business class. We'll come to that part in a moment. The Singapore Airlines lounges in Terminal 3 are bigger than the ones in Terminal 2. Well, in the Gold lounges you get your essentials, as you could just see now. You get your food, you get your drinks, you're gonna have shower rooms, so that's all there. You're gonna be covered for your rest before your flight. But now we have a look at the next level, and that's the SilverKris Business Class Lounges. They're reserved for business class passengers of Star Alliance, including Singapore Airlines, of course, and also status holders of Singapore Airlines Krisflyer. The jump up from the Star Alliance Gold Lounge to the SilverKris Business Lounges is pretty big. Only business and first class passengers of Singapore Airlines and Star Alliance have access here, as well as PPS Club members. Here too, the lounges in Terminal 2 are significantly less comfortable than those in Terminal 3. If you're flying from Terminal 2 and have some extra time, you should definitely consider going to Terminal 3 for the lounge. It is easy and quick to switch between the two terminals thanks to the airport train. While walking through Terminal 3, you should make sure to see one thing that no other airport in the world offers: the butterfly garden in the tropical air of Singapore, even if it's just for 5 minutes before you go on to the SilverKris Lounge. The SilverKris Lounge in Terminal 3 is very large and modern in the business class area, and it's much larger than the lounge in Terminal 2. However, it can get quite full at peak times. One wing offers a large bar with coffee barista service, but only a small buffet. The tables offer inductive charging for your cell phone, and you have a view over planes and a huge pond with koi carps. The other side is more of a restaurant in dim light and offers a large buffet with live cooking, which also far surpasses the lounge in Terminal 2. There's also numerous shower rooms here, very modern and with Japanese toilets. If you like this and the well over 100 flight and travel reports on the two Travel Sing Fly channels, then please give me a thumbs up, comment on the video and subscribe to the channel with the little bell next to it to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the exciting videos that are released here. You'll help the channel with all its free content to grow and become more visible. Keep looking around Travel Sing Fly. There's for sure a few more reports that are just the right ones for you. It's so great to have you here. I've been flying out of Singapore so many times in my life already, in low cost, economy class, business class, and of course the business class lounges here of Singapore Airlines are really very nice. But now comes my personal premiere, and that's first class, the first class part of the Krisflyer lounges here in Singapore, and we check them out now in Terminal 2 and Terminal 3. After an elegant reception, the first class lounge in Terminal 2 is extremely different from the one in Terminal 3. There are similar dishes and expensive champagne, but the ambiance is not nice and does not create a first class feeling. Everything is rather disturbingly functional. The buffet leaves a lot to be desired, and the shower rooms have nothing in common with the luxury you find in Terminal 3. So a trip there is particularly worthwhile. As already mentioned, there is a train between the two terminals, and Terminal 3 is generally worth a visit with many beautiful shops and lots of space. If you have a lot of time between flights and don't know the city, you should try to take one of the free city tours offered by the airport. But we do have other plans: the first class lounge here in the modern Terminal 3. Singapore Airlines offers lots of coffee specialties in first and business class. You have the opportunity now to buy me some coffee and keep me awake during my long nights editing videos at home. Buy me a coffee is your chance to support my work with the amount of a cup of coffee. You can buy me one or more coffees, and you can find the link in the top right of the window and in the video description. It's even easier with a super thank. You can find that directly under the video. I would be very happy because everything here is self-funded and really expensive to produce, and unfortunately tickets for the reports don't grow on trees for me either. Thank you so much for your support. What is noticeable here is that this first class lounge is quite small, especially compared to the mega lounges of the Gulf carriers in Dubai and Doha. However, apart from Singapore Airlines, Lufthansa is the only Star Alliance carrier flying out of Singapore with first class, and there's just those other few passengers with the highest Krisflyer status who have access here too. The real highlight of the lounge are clearly the fabulous, extremely luxurious shower rooms, as well as the private nap rooms with real beds like in a hotel. The bar serves great drinks. The champagne on offer was the expensive Rare Millésime Vintage. Only the food on offer could be a little more special for first class. There's no a la carte options and the buffet is nice but not impressive. Well, the step up from the business to the first class part of the Krisflyer Lounge is really pretty impressive. I mean, first of all, you have already this really nice business class lounge with the soup kitchen and very nice shower rooms with these fragrances of Penhaligons, very nice refreshing fragrance. Then you have also champagne, people hide seek, but then it goes up when you go to the first class lounge already by $100 when it comes to the champagne. That's how much more expensive the bottles of champagne are over here. Then you have very nice buffet, of course. You have this very beautiful bar, and then of course you have these gigantic beautiful shower rooms over here, and there the products are of Lalique. That's Neroli, the Neroli fragrance. Really beautiful fragrance as an eau de toilette and also as a lotion, so that's quite a step up, very beautiful. But then here in Singapore there's yet one level up from the first class lounge, and that's where I'm sitting right now. That's the private room, and that's very exclusive because first of all that's only in Terminal 3, but you have to be a guest of first class or first class suites of Singapore Airlines only. That means first class guests of other Starlines airlines have no access, and also the highest status will not get you here unless you have a first class ticket or first class suites ticket of Singapore Airlines. You can also not bring a guest unless the guest also has a first class ticket of Singapore Airlines or Singapore Airlines first class suites ticket. While in the first class lounge you can bring a guest no matter if the guest flies first class, business class or also economy class. So that makes it all quite exclusive. Now we have a look very closely here around this private room. If you start in Singapore, there's a separate entrance to the airport with its own reception for passengers of Singapore Airlines First Class and Suites and the highest Krisflyer status. The luggage is taken care of, you sit comfortably while receiving your boarding pass and an invitation to the private room that you can visit after passing through your own very quiet security screening. Before going to our private room experience, here's a few words about my travel companion, the Practical Luggage by Level 8, which you can buy here at a great discount. On this trip I'm traveling with luggage by Level 8, and actually every week some companies send me a message. They would like to send me their products for free and I should just test them for my channel, and I always say no, except for this time I said yes, and that was the right feeling. It's really fantastic luggage. This one here is called Le Voyager. It's a carry-on luggage that's really sturdy and really nice to look at, very spectacular actually. And not only that, but it's also really practical because there's some extra space inside that you get from this kind of handle, and that gives you the extra inches inside that makes it not only a 3-day but also a 4-day luggage. So that's really fantastic for short trips. I'm gonna make an extra video about that, but this is really fantastic for a trip like that because it's beautiful, it's sturdy, and it's very practical. So then I also got some aluminum carry-on, also very beautiful one, very elegant of course, and of course it comes with a price tag, but not with a fantasy high prices that I know 2 or 3 brands now that do the two with not better quality actually, because the aluminum of Level 8 is really fantastic quality. And then I also have this Voyager line as a checked-in luggage, and that's also really nice because the layout is made in a way that it can also carry some bigger items inside the suitcase without a problem. So altogether it's a really fantastic brand. I can really just recommend it. And if you click the link in the video description, you get all items of Level 8 at a special discount. Just click the link, enter TravelSingFly 15 and you get this very beautiful luggage. Now let's continue to the private room, because over there is still a lot to see, drink and eat. Well, the private room is really quite private. When I arrived here, I was the only guest, and I think now there's 2 or 3 more guests. That's it. You have the beautiful a la carte restaurant. That's also the only lounge with an a la carte restaurant here of Singapore Airlines. Then you have these beautiful niches here with sofas and chairs. Then you have these resting rooms with day beds, or real beds actually. You have the beautiful shower rooms. You have a children's playroom. So that's all really very beautiful. If you want to say something that is not perfect, maybe is you don't have a view outside. You won't see planes from here because it's all inside here. You have a window to the public area of the airport, but that's also nice maybe. It's a little on the darker side, but that's also maybe more elegant. So that could be also the positive part actually, that it is more dark. And you have this beautiful Art Deco style. This is really a very elegant style, so I like it really very much. And one last thing that at least feels very exclusive is that you're gonna be addressed by your last name. You're going to be led into the private room personally, so everybody's going to know you by name already. Since there's almost no guests here, because it's reserved for first class and first class suites passengers exclusively, everybody's going to know you by your last name, and they will just address you like that. So at least that feels really exclusive, doesn't it? So anyway, now let's have some food and drinks. So here I'm sitting in the middle of my dinner at the private room restaurant, and I've been looking forward to this actually for quite some days already. And the wines are of course great and everything, but now I have to say something, and I hope you don't think I'm kind of over the top or something, but when you look at the menu, you have great ingredients here, really amazing, really, not amazing, but really nice ingredients. But then you eat it and you're kind of left wishing for something else or for something better. And that's a little strange. I just had lobster and I think that was salmon caviar on pasta, but it really did not taste nice. It just looked expensive, but it didn't taste really nice. And before that I had already another half lobster tail and scallops, so all really quite expensive ingredients, but then they were drowned to death with a super overspiced tomato sauce. I only tasted super strong tomato sauce and thyme and salt, and I didn't taste any lobster anymore. It was so sad. I think, why not just fry it in butter or garlic and butter and just serve it like that? It would be so great for the lobster, and now the poor lobster died for that. I'm really feeling sorry for him or her. Let's just go into details for a last moment. Here at the private room, there's only an a la carte restaurant, so you can not have a buffet to choose from. Whereas in the regular first class lounge, there's only a buffet. You won't have a la carte dining over there. Over there, there's a rare millésime champagne, I think from 2007. And here they have it too in the private room. And on top of that, they have the Taitinger Comte de Champagne, I think from 2012 right now. And I mean, the rare millésime is a very full-bodied, rich tasting champagne. That's a really very nice quality too. And here the Taitinger, that's a Blanc de Blanc champagne. So that's rather very fine taste, but also really nice, of course. After so much food, it's now time for another highlight. The first class lounge and the private room have 4 nap rooms each. They're actually proper bedrooms, so calling them nap rooms is really an understatement. So this is the nap room. How awesome is that? A really nice single bedroom, So nice, not really for sleeping maybe, because behind me there's some glass in the door, so people could look in if they liked. So maybe lying down and sleeping naked might be not the best idea. However, it's a really nice room and you can stay here for 2 hours. That's the regular time. But I just heard that if there's not a lot of people coming here, if there's availability, you can just ask again just before the lounge closes at 2 a.m. And you could just stay here, or I could just stay here until the next morning for my next flight. So that would be really fantastic. So I'm hoping for that now. And now I'm just going to lie down a little and nap. If you don't want to sleep or don't have lounge access, you can also go to the cinema. Movies are shown here 24 hours a day and they're free for all travelers. So I spent 2 beautiful hours napping in this nap room, and then I walked around the airport a little bit more. Then I went back to the lounge again, and now I'm having another nap room for the rest of my stay here. The lounge is closing at 2 a.m., but I'm allowed to stay in this nap room until my early morning flight. So that's really fantastic service. There's gonna be some food and beverages available in the regular part of the first class lounge. So I won't starve. I won't starve to death, that's for sure. And then I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna change, and then go to my onward flight. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty interesting too. I napped for a little more than 3 hours. That was really wonderful, and now I'm gonna have a shower. But look at this showering room. Look, the shower itself, it's just gigantic. You can have a little dance even, if you like, and if you lost your mind, maybe. So I'm gonna have a shower now. I'm gonna change, and then I'm gonna go to the plane, because now is coming a really nice, very short hop in first class, and I'm looking forward to that too, because I think that's gonna be quite interesting. Anyway, now shower, changing, and then to the plane. What comes next has already been released on the channel. One of the best ways to redeem miles, some wonderful 90 minutes in first class to Jakarta, in addition to the private room before. But there's also numerous other reports about Singapore Airlines here on the channel, and not everything always went smoothly. See for yourself. And here I am again, all new, all fresh, freshly showered, and not only with a fresh but a new shirt for the next flight, so that's not such a bad idea either sometimes. I hope you really enjoyed this report about all the Singapore Airlines lounges here at Singapore Airport. If yes, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. There's lots of really interesting aviation reports waiting for you. Also destination reports from all continents of the world, and also quite a lot of really interesting lounge reports about all the Emirates lounges in Dubai, for example, all the Qatar Airways lounges in Doha, and quite a lot to come. So stay tuned, have a look at this report over here. That's really pretty interesting too, and see you there in a moment at Travel, Sing, Fly.